This week, the Kansas City Mavericks named Tato Had the club's 5th head coach in team history, who's ready to bring in a fast-paced style of hockey that embodies the work ethic of the Kansas City community. Our Breland Moore went one-on-one with the Mavs' new leader.
First things first, I have to ask, this is probably a long time coming for you. I'm sure this was on your checklist to be a head coach, but definitely not probably in the middle of a pandemic. So just take me through kind of this whole process, because I'm sure it's a lot different than what you had originally anticipated it being.
Yeah, no, you nailed it on the head. This has been a crazy kind of environment and everything going on. It's definitely been different. Basically, you know, when they had let go of the coach in January, and I lose track of dates, you know, and days right now with everything, I knew that I wanted, you know, to apply and be the head coach in Kansas City. So I reached out to our ownership and asked for permission, and they granted me permission. And I talked to Brent Thiessen, and he and I began to have some great conversations. A while after that, in February, he came down to Florida. We sat and met, had a great conversation. I kind of laid out my whole plan, you know, for him. And I left that meeting just absolutely ecstatic, excited. After doing all my homework on Casey, on Brent, on understanding Lamar Hunt, I knew it was a place I wanted to be. But I'm in the midst of a season, and you know, we were chasing the Kelly Cup in Florida and just so excited about the process. And then we're up in Greenville, South Carolina, getting ready to go on the ice, and we hear that, hey, listen, the season's going to be canceled. And so I've got a 10.5-hour bus trip back, a lot of things racing through the mind. And this whole process was kind of just put on hold. And after that, eventually I reached out. I said, you know, do we know where you guys are going with the process? And really nobody did. At that time, it was survival mode. There were a lot of layoffs going on in the league and so forth. And then last week, I met with Lamar and Brent via Zoom, and basically had a final interview. They had narrowed it down to a few candidates, and was very happy with the interview. Felt really good about the organization. But what was scary about it is I've never been able to really get to Kansas City and meet the people and check out the environment. I was there a couple years ago for a game, but literally we played a game, got on a plane, flew out the next day, didn't really get to see the city. So I've been doing a lot of homework, talking to a lot of ex-players, getting to know it. It's been a wild process.
You kind of touched on it a little bit, but what really sold you on KC without ever seeing it?
Yeah, you know, first off, I'm very familiar with the ECHL and the league, and I knew that Kansas City, the Mavericks, were really one of the premier organizations. And when I say that, I mean that from the whole package. The community of Kansas City, the fan base of the Orange Army, the arena, the amenities, the staff. I've coached several players that have played in Kansas City, and their rave reports were off the charts. And that's not common. You know, players will play a variety of places, and you'll always hear the positives, some negatives, but these were overwhelmingly positive remarks. And so it really gave me a good feeling. This is a great opportunity. This is an organization that has a great tradition, that happened to have a tough year. By no means is that indicative of what the organization is. The organization has a very bright future. I couldn't be more honored and more humbled to be a part of that future. And it's an exciting time.
Gosh, what a wild ride. Breland, thank you so much. You can hear part 2 of our conversation on Friday's Locker Room Show.